All right, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and record it so that way everybody has it. We can share this later on in resources. All right. So hi everybody. Matthew here. The other Matthew, not the one that's Hardy. But no pun intended. I apologize if that was a little too geeky or anything like that. But so we're going over Wireshark Part 2. At least that's what I call it. Yeah, you do see me twice. But bumps. This is what happens when you turn into a adult and have kids, you know? It becomes apparent. Anywho, dad jokes aside here, we are gonna basically we're basically gonna go over Wireshark Part 2. It's basically just a different PCAP file. If you've already downloaded it on your local machine, awesome. If you haven't, go ahead and do so if you have Wireshark though installed. So if you don't worry about it. We'll use the internal Codio VM and make sure you guys are on the VM itself. And again, if you haven't launched it, you go into tools. You should see virtual machine right here. Enable it by clicking open. It'll pop off right here. And then what you could do in order to have it side by side. Now, I don't know if it'll append or stay, but I recommend clicking view. Should you update? Is it asking you to update within Codio or separately on your local machine, Ray? So yeah, I mean, you can update it if you want to. You don't have to. Yeah, you could just remind it later. But if it's within Codio, don't worry about it. If it's local, you should be fine. Yes, Max, you should be fine. If you downloaded the PCAP, if you downloaded the PCAP locally, then the rest should be pretty much self-explanatory. It's showing PowerShell. Can you take a quick screenshot and throw it into the chat, Caleb, for me, so that way I can kind of take a look? But panels vertical, and then you can drag and drop your VM tab there. Cool beans. Cool beans. All right. So does everybody have their VM open? Does it show? Allowing them to kind of see this screen and then obviously the insight and the incident scenario. I know Caleb said it's opening up PowerShell. All right. Well, Caleb, if you want, throw it into the chat here for Zoom, or you can just send it to me directly. That way I can take a quick look and then we can go from there. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and press on and you can follow along if you want to, or we could, we could circle back and kind of go over it again. All right. All right. So I got everything ready. All right, cool. So again, Jake, not from State Farm, but from Transgear Corp. He basically was investigating an incident report regarding an employee, Brianna, who observed abnormal behavior on her work computer. So obviously, she fell into a trap, probably got scammed, something like that, right? So now they're making sure things that are happening to Brianna's machine, it's basically resolved, and hopefully they can figure out what's happening and what went on, right? So since we already know what that is going on, what we're going to want to do, oh, lovely, closed my thing. So if you already downloaded the PCAP, download it to the VM. You want to just click on here, copy link. And then if you have your, let me see, tools, virtual machine open. If you haven't downloaded it to the Codio VM, go ahead and just copy the link like I did. So you right click here, copy link, VM, right click, paste and go. It's going to give you the option to download it. It looks like I already have it. It's on my downloads. So it should be there and already prepared. Uh, so Caleb, when you're opening up Wireshark or are you opening up the PCAP file? That's my question. Because I'm looking at the screenshot, it looks like it's opening up PowerShell. So you went tools, virtual machine open, and this should have been open. And
Okay.
then, oh, go for it. What's up?
Yeah, so I eventually got it. Apparently I was hitting tools and then hitting virtual machine and then terminal, which that was my error.
Ah, gotcha. But you're all good now, though?
I should be all good so far. I just need to download
The
what you
PCAP
told
file?
me to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, go for it. Try downloading it, and then you should be there. Ray, you said it's the first line info saying who is 1 at 27. I don't know why it's funny. What do you mean the first line? In where? Here? On the page or on the Wireshark when you open it up? Anyways. That's awesome though. I mean, sure, take a picture. So for the lab, we are using the PCAP. It's labeled cybersec.pcap. We're not using the previous one from the first Wireshark exercise that we did, right? Don't try to do any extractions onto the P from the PCAP file to your local machine. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a lot of information. If you need the instructions, they're both here for Windows and Mac, right? And make sure you start it, and then you're gonna open up the PCAP file within the VM itself. All right. So I will go ahead and push on. So here's obviously your instructions. We're basically looking to find and collect all of the IOCs. Oh, nice. Okay, now I get it right. Thank you. So, for the mini project, we're collecting all the IOCs to help Jake determine what happened and which credentials may have been compromised, right? So, throughout the project, these are all the questions that we're pretty much going to be going over and reviewing together, okay? So, if you want to, you can copy these and throw these onto like a notepad, throw it into chat, throw it somewhere else where you, whatever it needs to be, but you should be able to kind of answer these questions little by little. We already kind of have the experience, but as a refresher, this will be pretty straightforward, and I'll work with you guys as best as we can. All right, let's go ahead and press on. So VM here. View, view, come on. View panels horizontal. And let's go ahead and, okay, that's not what I wanted. Uh, control, no, it's control, C, nope. Okay, I can't do that. All right. Well, that was most unfortunate. No, I'm gonna do this one. View panels close. I don't know why I did that. View panels vertical. There we go. Better. All right. So, Wireshark. Is Wireshark showing up at least with the decent configuration? It shows up like with the text at least in big enough form. You guys see that? All right. So moving on. So as we begin our mission, first step is to get a better understanding as to the suspected malicious traffic, right? So we need to set the time frame or the coordinated universal time, UTC, within Wireshark. So where you would go is you go to view, then you would go to time display format, and you select time of day UTC, which should be Control Alt 8 if you want to use your keyboard mouse selection options within your local system. Otherwise, you just click on this within Wireshark. So I already have mine set to that. We should be pretty much set and good. Now, for the UTC, what time did the traffic start? You guys know where to find that? Does it show? Where would you find that information? Where would you look for that data that says that this attack started this date time? Under time. All right, well, under time. Perfect. Yeah. Yep. So then let's see. 2251. Let's take a look. Nice. Looks like we got it. All right, is it? You guys are there? You guys were able to kind of look at it and see it? So usually you can see it from there. If you don't have these columns here enabled, you can usually find them too by going into frame, and then you can see here as well. UTC arrival. Perfect. Yep. All right. So now we're going to go over to the next step, right? Next one. It says now we have an incident start time. Now let's find the IP address of Brianna's workstation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into statistics. We're then going to go into conversations. And now this one is going to show you the conversations between all information that we need, right? excuse me, like Ethernet, you got your IPv4, IPv6, TCP, and UDP. So we're going to want to look for the IPv4, right? So what IP address is involved in all of the conversations? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You guys should probably see it first and right off the bat. Which one would it be? Let's see. 117.28. So you're saying the second one. Well, yeah, it does look like it is the second one. BCEA. Are you saying that for the next one, Ray? Because that's the Ethernet address. Yeah, next one would be BCEA Ethernet. So we go to Ethernet. And as you guys see, yep, BCEA. Nice. All right. It's all good, Ray. You're breezing past this, see? You already know how to use Wireshark. Looks like you're already very well aware. All right. Oh, closed out my screen again. So let's go to panels, do vertical again, tools, virtual machine open. All right. It should still keep me over to the same spot. All right. So now we're gonna try to do the SMTP filtering, right? So you guys remember how to do that SMTP filtering? Where would you do that in order to find out the machine name and username that Brianna logged into? Where would you put that? The search bar? All right. Let's give that a whirl. So SMTP, hit enter. Nice. All right. All right. But where would we find the information now for the machine name and the username that Brianna used? How would we find that information? Where would you look for that? Would it be under the info tab, bottom left? All right, Shar, let's see. Where exactly in bottom left? I'm looking, you mean right here in this section or in this section over here? Let's see, because the frame doesn't show anything. The second one. So second one, let me move this down here. Don't know why that's showing up. Hmm. Okay. Ah, you're saying the second one right here. This one? Nice. All right, so it would be a desktop Windows 11 PC, correct? Look at that. Windows 11 machine. So you see that there as well. You even see a communication through a web host. But now we need to find out what the TCP stream is in order to identify it. So how would we go about that? How would we find the TCP stream in order to find out the username used to log into the system? You guys remember how to look that up? Remember, there's no right or wrong answers here. We're just trying to do this side by side, trying to figure out Wireshark again. No? It's all right, Shar. TCP stream. Okay. How would you do that though, Ray? Like, would you click anywhere up top? Would you right click? Would you double click? What would you do? Filter bar? So you think the filter bar would help? All right. So let's try TCP, right? Oh, so it looks like it's trying to do lowercase. So we'll do lowercase, right? Well, we do have TCP, so TCP dot stream according to you. So TCP dot stream. We'll do that. Perfect. Where is that information though? What would be the login name? Because I only see the name of the machine, but what's the login? This looks like it's being encrypted almost. So that wouldn't be it. I see the mail for something. Where else would it be? We'll give it one more chance here, Ray. What other way would you be able to follow the stream for TCP? Since we already did, what was it, SMTP, right? Oh, SMTP. So we did SMTP. We were able to figure out from that very first one, there's the machine, right? What about this? Let's do right click, follow. No worries, you're good. So you would normally right click, follow, and then do TCP stream. That's how you do it. And then you're met with this window. All right. So whenever you want to follow something, you always want to click on the packet itself that we already have the information for. You right click on it, select follow, and then TCP stream. Usually there's like a little shortcut key and everything that you could do. Don't even worry about it. Just click on it. Brings you to this. Now we're in the TCP stream. So now, how do we identify the username? What's the username? There's a bunch of mumbo jumbo here. How do we find that username? Well, we have our answers here. Where would we see that here? There's a lot of red. There's the machine name. So that's one. But where's the username? Hmm. Anyone else feel free to answer. Remember, I'm not stopping anybody from answering. Admin at Windows. Okay, admin at Windows 11. Let's see. Ah, look, I found something that says username. You could always, I think you could do something that says username. Look at that. I found, it looks like there's two of them and it looks like it matches, right? You can usually just use the find feature at the bottom, type in username, it gives you that information. So it looks like the username is admin at Windows11users.com. So it looks like it's this one. Let's check it. Beautiful. All right, so Jake examines the TCP stream more closely. He notices an interesting looking email. The receiver's email address looks odd. So, which addresses are in the from and to fields? Where do we find those? Well, you saw it already. It looks like it's right here, right? There's your two. So what are the two? Marketing at transgear.in. And what's the other one? Looks like it's this one here, right? Let's take a look. Nice. See, that's the answer. So as you can see here from the TCP stream, it gives you all that information already and kind of breaks it down just by following it, like we did last time with the previous PCAP file that we did with Wireshark. Now we're identifying where this was happening and how it was happening, right? All right. Oh, Gabriel, look at you going on ahead. All right, so next one, let's discover any additional information about Brianna's computer, right? So what kind of CPU are we using here? So the CPU that Gabriel says is an i5. So how do we find that using the tools here? So do we type that in? Do we type in CPU? Let's see. CPU. Nice. You can even do that with the search option that you have there, which is find. And there it is, an i5 13600K. Wow. All right, what about RAM? Looks like the RAM's all there too. 32 165. Gabriel says it's 32 gigs. Bada bang, bada boom. Nice. Are you guys good? Do you want to proceed? Continue? Cool beans. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Moving on to the next one. Ugh, I love when it does that. Tools, virtual machine open. All right. Now, let's go ahead and discover some more information, right? What kind of login data is being sent? Now we got multiple choice here, so you got to pick at least two of them. What information is being sent here? So what about, let's see, let's do search real quick. Is there a password? Nice. All right. Ray, you got username and password. Anyone else that says different? All of the above. Phone numbers and passwords, usernames and phone numbers. All right. Let's take a stab, right? Beautiful. Look at that. So, can you identify the username and password associated with Amazon.com? How do we find that out? Let's type in Amazon.com. Let's see. So it looks like it's the username is still admin Windows 11. And it looks like the password is this guy right here with the 69E. That would be correct, right? But which one would it be though? Looks like the highlighted one that I have here seems to be the username and password. So let's see here. Would it be this one? Nice. Of course. Only answer, right? So now that Jake's able to see Brianna's computer was authenticated with webhostbox.net, Brianna has no record of visiting the page, right? So let's take a even deeper look. So to do this, we need to close the TCP stream window and ensure that SMTP filter is still applied. We need to locate the packet containing the authentication details for the user account used to, of course, authenticate with webhostbox.net. All right, so let's go ahead and close out of this. So in order to kind of look for that, we need to find out where exactly it is, right? So which one was authenticating with it. So click on the packet, inspect the packet details displayed on the box in the bottom left corner of the window. And then if we see a username encoded, we need to be able to decode it, right? Uh, all right, Austin. Well, it looks like you dipped out, so no biggie. All right. So how would you guys do this one here to be able to get the proper packet to show the authentication over to web host box? Let's see. Where is it? Doo-doo-doo. Web host box. So we need to remove this one, SMTP. Oop. We got SMTP, web host box. Look at that. Doo-doo-doo. So that's all the Ethernet connectivity and information. That's the closing connection. Where's the opening connection? Let's see. Anyone? Feel free to come off mute or just answer it. No biggie. Okay. Looks like the third one down. All right, third one down. So what would be the username? Let's take a look. What's your guys' answer? So, Gio, are you saying on the screen where the question and answers are, you're saying it's the third one down? All right, Ray, you said it's this one right here, transgear.in. All right, let's take a look. Nice. Looks like it is marketing at transgear.in. So that's where I'm trying to get the information from as well. Authentication successful. Transmission protocol. Let me see here. It would be this one. Oh, looks like he sent me the direct message, Ray.
So I'm actually getting ready to send a photo of it. I screwed up the order on mine, so it might not be correct, but if you guys check 673, number 673, it'll pop up for you. And it shows protocol SMTP slash and it says I dot dot dot. And it says Lin 59, and then it says from that email subject PW Winder user 11 desktop.
Nice. Where's screenshot go? Hmm. Oh, there's a screenshot, but it's behind this. That's why. Or not. All right. Nice. The info part.
Yeah, so you might want to go down a little bit lower. 673. There.
There you go. Good job, Ray. Proud of you of that one. All right, so it looks like Gabriel already went on ahead. So we need to find the packet context that contain the password details using to authenticate the web hostbox.net. So we examine the packet details, right? So if you right click, let's see, examine. Is there something that says examine here? Live filter. Oh, we can just leave it how it is. Usually, password from address, line-based text data. Line 653. Remember correctly. This thing again. There you go. Move it over there. So is this in a transmission protocol? I believe. Oh, I'm not click the right one. Huh. here. After decoding it. Nice. All right. All right. Does everybody understand how to get the password? All right. Moving on. All right. Let me see if it lets me do it. Nope. Eradication. All right. So these are more of open questions to do. So let's go ahead and kind of go over these together. So now we have to reflect on the ways to eradicate the malware and restore the computer to its normal functionality. So now that we've identified the IOCs, next step is to eliminate the spyware and reflect on the lessons learned. So what actions can Jake take to remove the spyware and return Brianna's computer to normal functionality? What would you guys do? Like, how would you do it in place of Jake? How would you return Brianna's computer to just being normal? Would you do a full system wipe? Would you do a virus scan? Would you do just remediation and just kind of eliminate what is already there? Like, how would you guys go about it? You can do it. Give me like a brief 2 sentences if you want. I mean, you could use a restore point if we had those in place. I mean, if this is the type of business that has restore points where you can restore data based off of a specific date and time, or if you have it where it's like a specific backup, then yeah, you could do that. The question here is, where would you restore it from? Would you restore it from the day of the incident, or would it be like the day before? Let's see. Mr. Hardy says reset password, do then a backup, and then reset the whole computer. Yeah, but what would you back up? Just the important data, just the files and data documents that are required, no images, nothing like that, right? Yes. That's one way of doing it. I mean, that's the way I've done it beforehand in my MSP days. Do a full system wipe and then just reinstall the OS. I mean, the license stays within BIOS. This is back when like I think Windows 10 was still being worked on. Anyone else? All right, no biggie. We'll move on to the next question here. So, how can firewall? I mean, are you saying within the actual system itself after you've reset the whole computer? Or would this be externally creating like firewall rules and exceptions to prevent anything like this happening in the future? External? Yeah, that would be another course of action that you can take in order to prevent it from happening ever again. But again, you would have to exercise caution when creating those firewall rules. Does that make sense? With like you have to make sure that the rules that you create are not only applied to her, but they apply to everybody within the business. Let's see, Max. Software solutions, okay, like MBytes, MBAM, as I like to call it. Adware, okay. PC-matic. I haven't seen or heard of that one for a while now. Remove anything. Okay. Nice, nice. One way that you could also do it to help remediate is I use Revo uninstaller. I also use is there's another piece of software. This is one like back when I first started out in MSPs and in IT. There's one where it scans your system for anything that's adware related. it'll scan it, give you the details of it in DLL form, which is what Windows uses, right? And then after it scans it and does it, it gives you an option to either delete or quarantine it, right? And then I would go at it with mbam, any adware, other cleaners, go through Revo uninstaller, still uninstall software that I don't recognize or use, and then do a full registry clean as well and make sure that there's nothing sitting in the system. Because if you keep it there in registry, it'll always come back. It's like having a piece of a sand in your shoe. You think that you've emptied it all out, but there's still a couple of grains at like the very end of your shoe. Does that make sense? Like at the very start. I think some of us who are from like Southern California, or those who go to like walking deserts and etc., can understand the base of having sand in your shoe. You've emptied it out, but there's still some sand there, you know? Now, how can Brianna exercise greater vigilance in the future? What can she do to prevent something like this to happen, even if we've already set the countermeasures for it? What would you guys recommend? So, frequent password changes, yes, that's one big thing. And how would you exceed that? How would you set that up, Ray? Would it be like within 2, 3 months? Looks like Matt and looks like you guys are doing it for training her properly. Nice, nice. Learning more about fishing. Okay, sure. Yeah, I see that too. Providing some employee training regarding fishing. Looks like touch up on computer best practices. She definitely needs a course or a refresher. Most definitely, especially with those constant emails that you guys receive or trainings that we receive, it would be the best bet to do, right? Refresh their memory, test them to see if they still remember the rules and regulations. I know that we, within the company that I currently work for, we get those either every month or every time there's something new. And then it's just, small video, click on the right answer, and if it's the wrong answer, it's just like, okay, well, here's another training. You go on and so forth, and you educate yourself further, right? Um, but as far as Ray's answer, yes, every 3 months would be the best bet. Every 90 days or so, resetting, having the password having to be reset. I think for policies, I think that's like the best option, honestly, because it kind of keeps passwords frequently. Now, myself included, I change my password usually 60 days. Only because I try to prevent that notification to come up or for it to do it for me manually and tell me, hey, your password's expired. You got to change it. Even though it gives us like the warning, I think 10 to 15 days before, usually that's the best recommended action. At least that's for me. I do it every 60 days only because password needs to be changed. And within the company that I work for, it works security. I always have to be at the ready, right? What else? What else can we give Brianna to exercise? Better vigilance aside from company trainings, doing, brushing up on courses, or even just like setting up modules and stuff for her to kind of like go through. Bhavin, perfect. Enable two-factor authentication. That should go for anything company-wide. You always have to have TFA to protect yourself. So it's an additional level of security in order to prevent any accesses and stuff, from outside sources, people you don't know, recognize, or even just people that you don't want there. Ooh, Max, you broke it down. Good. Having some sort of policy in place that prevents you from using your work computer for personal reasons without approval. Strict, but considering what happened, it could make a lot of sense. Yes, it does. So here's where it's the kicker with a lot of companies. With mine, I have my work laptop literally right off to my left here, right? I have my main system off to my right. I have them both separate. They're both on the same network. They're both able to function in coherent factor, right? But the only difference is that I have to switch between screen to screen. So right now I have you guys on all the screen. But if I were to work on my work computer, I have to switch between my monitors, switch off my keyboard and mouse, done. But I could still do personal things on my work laptop. So that just shows that the company itself is not restricting that. But if you have specific firewall rules, then that's where you can kind of play it off a little bit better. So certain things like, and mind you, this is just from my experience, me trying to look up things for like say a video game that I want to try to play later in the weekend, later at night, or just something I'm looking up. I can't look up video game rules. I can't look up any type of notifications or anything like that. It restricts it. Keywords are blocked, right? So that would be the other considering factor. Though you can do certain personal items on the system, even if you create like web browser profiles, you can still restrict it based off of username data. You can search engine options, keywords, and etc. Like, does that kind of help broaden the idea of though you can still use certain systems as your with personal information for personal things, it still restricts certain parts of it, right? Does that make sense? Nice, nice. All right. Any others? Any other ideas? Let's see, Gabriel, you say, couldn't the IT lock down the computer to only have specific applications and documents, have it require admin user and password to download new stuff on the computers? Yes. That usually kind of ties in with Active Directory. Active Directory has group policies or GPOs that go in place and activate as soon as a user is signed into the network. Now, if you're remote, it kind of works a little differently, and I've seen it in action only maybe a couple of times with my previous role that I had, excuse me, with Rivian Automotive, right? With that company, I was more involved in assisting with that, right? Where we created group policies. We had to edit those in order for a system to log in, whether it's within the specific domain that we have. So, like, say, if it's Rivian, it's Rivian dot, DC, right? That's the domain controller. So if they sign into the Rivian dot DC, there's a group policy that immediately kicks off as soon as that user logs into their profile. And based off of what groups, if you guys remember that from one of the previous labs, whatever groups they're part of, it executes their access based off of that. So, hey, they have access to ABC folders, they have access to A through Z applications. They cannot install software based off of their profile because they're level, let's say level 1, 2, 3, 4, right? They're a level 3. So they can only install certain applications that meet these requirements, right? And then that in turn, they have to imply that, hey, I need to submit a ticket to request the IT team or people to install that system or application for me. So that's where it kind of goes into that detail. So that's where there's the departments that separate that and give you the chance of installing the applications. Does that make sense? Nice. And there's ways of doing it too. There's I will advise that there's also exercises you guys can do online to kind of brush up on that within Active Directory in order to have to create users, create groups, adding the users to the groups, and then afterwards kind of testing it out, right? So you can use that same virtual machine that you've logged into, log into a different user account, see if it kicks off a specific security group policy and the rest of the group policies to give you access to XYZ folders, right? I've done it to kind of brush up my Active Directory skills as well as any type of penetration testing within that. So that way it all kind of works in that sense. So Max, you're saying you've had that issue before, restrictions, not giving access to apps that are needed. I mean, yeah, calling the IT department every 3 to 4 times a day to install just a single app, I can totally get it. But the only difference was with me is that I was help desk. So even if I was help desk, I can only help so far. We had a specific department that it came to installing other applications, right? That required, IT security. They needed to ensure that it met the SOX compliance, right? I can't remember the name. I know Miss Flores, Jackie kind of says the name consistently, but um with SOX compliance, you have to meet certain rules and regulations that are followed along with the company in order to allow that software to be installed. And yes, Matt, group permissions are always based off of what people are being added to, whether it's Amazon, Rivian, Robert Half, whatever company, right? All right, let's see here. So now that we've collected all of our IOCs and we've provided the recommendations on how Jay can fully restore Brianna's computer and offered Brianna advice on how to stay vigilant in the future, now we have to summarize the incident, right? So we have to create a incident response life cycle framework. Sorry, we have to follow the incident response life cycle framework, and we need to be clear and outline the entire incident response sequence in a manner that we can easily understand, and as well as provide that understanding over to stakeholders outside of the incident response team. So reflecting on what we did and what just happened, let's go ahead and kind of write that out, right? Go ahead and do that here. You don't have to throw it into chat, but just do your best to kind of do a summary. Now, you can kiss it, keep it short and simple. You can be descriptive, but you still have to provide understanding for people who don't know what it is that they're looking at, right? You can't just go into full IT dork mode or gremlin mode, as Mona would say, and describe the situation that just happened in full detail. Because what if they don't understand those terms? What if they don't understand the things that you did? You have to kind of break it down in bite-sized pieces to where they can understand it and see, okay, I get what they did. This is what happened. Now I know for future references, this is what we need to do in order to protect, right? Yeah, I mean, feel free to do so. I can help out. I'm gonna hang out here either way for the next like 15 minutes because this is actually the last question or the last bit of the lesson here in the lab. Um, so feel free to throw in a summary here in chat. Let me know. I can help out in any way that I can, but feel free to submit it, submit your lab, get it done. And if you guys want to hang out, ask any questions. Again, I'm throwing this out there. I know the Security Plus test is coming up for you guys. You've already either you've scheduled it, you haven't scheduled it, you're doing studying, and etc. Ask me anything about it. I am here to help. It's only been roughly about a year or so that I've took it. So if you have any questions on whether like studying, regarding how to study for it, memorization, whatever it is, I'm here to help. All right. Thanks, Max. I appreciate it. I try to be, I may not be like Malik, where he's like super vibe, high end energy and such, where he does it. I try to keep up with that. It's just, I just do it in my own way, in my own manner. So I hope it helps. But I'm glad. And if you're not going to stick around, have a good one, Max. Have a safe weekend. Stay safe, wherever part of the world you are in. And yeah, all right. Let's see. We'll try something. Let's see if it does it. All right. If you guys want to throw it into the chat, feel free to do so. I'll stick around here. I'll keep recording just in case, because I'm throwing this out for everybody too in our resources area in case the questions are being asked and such, or if there's anything else that needs to be answered within this lab, I'll keep it recording. Let me know if you guys can hear music. I'm gonna play a little bit of music. I'll play it on low so that way it's not so loud, but let me know if you guys can hear it. Let's see. Let's see, Ray, you did. This is an example of how poor security measures can lead to dangerous things. Here we've caught a security threat of a device being used virtually to gain information. We found a way to gain all information needed to see how, what, or where the threat was found. We found a way to help Brianna with future threats to be prevented. So thinking with with my English brain. I like to call it thinking with my English brain because this is what my English teacher used to teach me all the time. So, Ray, what you want to do with that last sentence, you could always change it to say, as a result, we found a way to educate or edify Brianna in hopes to prevent future threats. So you could do it like that too. No, 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 no. You're not terrible at proper English. It's just that I was drilled with so much of it back in college and high school and such. So don't even worry about it. And then not to mention, I think in both English and in Spanish. So I speak Spanish for those of you who may or may not know. But my English is obviously so well that nobody can tell if I have an accent or not. So, and Spanish is actually my first language. English is my second due to school. So. You're welcome, Keenan. If you're gonna take off, go ahead. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate that. All right, I'll give it to the end of the song that I'm playing if you guys are hearing it. If you don't hear it, it's okay, no big deal. But I'll give it to the end of the song here. If you guys got nothing else, feel free to take off. You guys have a good rest of your week. And this was a pretty quick and easy lab. Let's see, Caleb. So associate clicked on a link thinking she won Amazon gift cards. The link actually was spyware and was taking personal information from her computer in the company. I was able to go in and track what was the risk and it where it came. You might want to do a grammar check as you put where did it come from using Wireshark. So where it came from while using Wireshark. We would then reset the password to prevent hackers from taking more information. Then we would back up only important info to re-download it on the computer after we reset. I also coached the associate on password resetting every 60 days and coached her on phishing and what it looks like and what to do if you come across a suspicious link. Okay, I like that. That's actually a good summary. I actually like that. Just tweak it a little bit where it does a full flow of grammatical sense. That way it's not read and people start to kind of like break it down further. Not like me, but just break it down to where it doesn't make sense to them and they ask more questions. Um, I would recommend one that I recommend, and I don't know if you can see this on my screen here. Quillbot. Quillbot is a good AI that helps you summarize or complete writing solutions here. It's really good. Really? You only so Ray, you only see it in the you only see genes? I think mine's in there too in resources. I think the last one that we did, I sent, let's see. Where'd it go? Yeah, mine's in there too. I sent mine in on Saturday, but yeah, I'll throw it into ours too. I think you're part of mine and Femi's, right? All right, cool. Yeah, I'll throw it in there. Gabriel, you asked, does the exam have a lot of acronyms in its questions? So it will. It just depends on what the question's asking, right? So it won't ask you to break it down, at least from what I remember. But again, I took the 601 before it went extinct. But it will include acronyms to certain questions regarding what the incident is. And I think those are usually within the PBQs or within like the multiple choice questions, right? So it'll do that for anybody. You're welcome, Ray. Have a good rest of your weekend as well. I'll throw the recording on both resources and as well as within our team chat. All right. You're welcome. I appreciate you too. Appreciate you too, guys. Awesome, awesome. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Anything else you want to throw at me? Whether it's about the security plus test. Uh, PBQs are normally worded very, very uniquely. Here, let me see if I can stop sharing my screen. Give me a second. So I will provide you an example, and this is one that I found. Let's see if it's this one. Okay, so this one might be it. All right, so this is one that I used for myself. I don't know if it's problem-based. No, let me see. Menu, open recent. I think it's this one. So there we go. Okay, found it. All right. So to kind of give you a quick example, let me share my screen. I'll share this right here. I'll share the window. All right. So from here, this is one of the PDFs that I was able to find, right? And this is for a study guide and stuff. This is usually how it looks like, right? So like, say for example, this question 39, Green Valley Mall located in a busy urban area has recently faced security concerns due to proximity of its main entrance, right? So it's multiple choice. But PBQs usually are worded very uniquely, right? They're worded very uniquely in order to kind of confuse you. So usually you have to kind of read it to yourself. You can't read it out loud, of course, because if you're doing it remotely, the proctor's literally watching you through your screen versus being in person in a actual like testing center, it's totally different. Excuse me, totally different. But I'm trying to remember. And here's another one that I have. Let me see. Problem-based questions. I'm trying to remember if it was in this one or in the previous one that I had open here that has problem-based questions. Let me see. Find text. Problem-based. Still looking for it. Usually they're worded in a very unique manner, like to kind of give you like a summary of it. Gabriel. Oh, looks like it couldn't find it, man. All right. But Gabriel, to answer your question, what was my way to study? Um, I I can recommend highly, 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 highly within the next 2 months, use us, the TAs, use the resources that we've given you, use everything that you've learned from the recordings up until now to study. And that's normally what I've done. You can do reviews, you can do the short summary, you can do the long summary, whatever the case may be, do it. You can practice your acronyms using the little note card thing that Mona gave us, the application. You can use study guides like I did. I found it, and again, this is like how I tell everybody, IT is mainly 80% Googling, 20% work. So Google the living heck out of your entire network, find PDFs, find study guides, search it up as best as you can. There's ways to find it, and there's always going to be a way to download it, save it to your system, and study these up, right? That's how I found mine. These are how I found the ones for the 701. So when I have to either retake it or I have to reapply for the test, um, I try to do that as best as I can. And this is actually most of the stuff too that I have here was for when I created or assisted creating the Cyber 3 course for you guys, because I was a content creator before I was a TA. But it's just studying the questions, doing the mock exams, either 25 questions or not. I think we shared in resources the other day a site that you can do and use the test questions that they have there. You can use that. You can use your teammates here, in the Slack see if you can meet with like 5 or 10 of them and say, hey, let's do a test. I did that before, but once the course ended, I couldn't take the test right away. I had personal matters and situations that I had to take care of. Our Cyber Zero course, because that was the very first kickoff course of this, I did my test in February of 2023. I was supposed to take it within November of 2022, or at least November, December, but I didn't. Why? Because again, busy. I had stuff to do. I had work. I was trying to figure things out. And then come February, I was already put on the chopping block and I was told, "Hey, I'm sorry, but you're part of the 10% of the company that's being let go." That motivated me more to just say, "Hey, screw it. Let's take the test. It doesn't matter what it is." The only downside is I scheduled mine at 2:30 in the morning the next day. So always be aware of what time you're scheduling it and for what day. I hope that helps answer your question, Gabriel. Let's see. I'm trying to find a problem-based question here that's not multiple choice. You're most welcome. Let's see. Those are the answers. Usually they would have the questions here. Let's see. 11. Not for 11. 11. So these are mainly multiple choice. Dang. Hmm. Nice. I'm glad. I think you're part. Are you part of our group too for Femi and myself? Or were you with a different one? You are awesome. Awesome. Yeah, and those are also recorded, just FYI, in case you haven't seen it yet. But those are also recorded. We try to make sure that we help everybody out as best as we can by recording it. And if you have any further questions, obviously we keep it open table for it. So does anybody else have anything else they want to ask or go over here? You guys are pretty much my last people here. Feel free to do it. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. Go ahead and go on about your day. Go through your weekend. Have a good one. Be safe.